Welcome back to the Reality Guys. I'm your host, Billy Blinks, joined as always by my co-host, Brian.
What's up, guys?
And longtime friend of the show, Waleed.
Hey, guys. I'm back.
He is back, and that usually means we are talking the Challenge All-Stars Season 2. We're on episode 6 in this season, so a little bit, if they stayed with last year, they had 10, so a little bit past halfway. I do think our girl Jasmine may be exaggerating a little bit when she's saying she's very proud of herself and that she's really close to the final. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah.
I think she might be one of the worst girls left, so her days are numbered here, I think. Is that harsh? I mean,
No, I agree. I mean, I was surprised that she even made it through this week. So,
yeah, I mean, she got lucky because, Kendall's out of the game.
Crazy. That's a big.
I don't mean to jump the gun, but like Jasmine really just got lucky.
Wally, do you think it's an exaggeration to say they were close to the final?
They are not close to the final. I mean, like the girl's got a lot of like fire in her, but like she's just not. Unfortunately, she's not physically capable of getting that far in this kind of competition. I mean, she never did. I feel bad for her sometimes. Like she does try, but people always underestimate her because of her physical stature or lack of physical stature. Yeah. So I mean, it's unfortunate. But I like the girl though as a person. I mean, I'm like, hey, I root for her, but she doesn't make it.
It's unfortunate, like you said, to see Kendall go to just in a medical elimination like that. It seems like she might have like busted a rib or something like that. They were kind of alluding to something with her side, right? Is that what they were saying?
Yeah, like I think a rib, and she also said like once you got back that she's had like issues before with like I guess like her ribs moving around,
like floating rib kind of thing.
That sounds like a really scary.
How did that happen again? How did that happen again? Did she land?
Like just jumped off the thing.
When she hit the water.
These people don't know how to jump in water.
They don't. That's
what we'll get to that. Well, we're gonna get to that in my next bullet point. Trust me.
Just pencil dive. I mean, literally, just straight down.
Just straight down.
I don't understand it. Why are we all falling like we're like got shot? Like it's crazy to me.
All right, so so thoughts and prayers to Kendall. I mean, that kind of sucks. Again on the challenge, I here we go. Oh God, here we go. All right, so they don't do things that make common sense in like the casting and even like the people that are on these damn shows. Like obviously, if Kendall has some kind of rib floating trauma kind of contact injury, you probably shouldn't have her on. I know she's a big name, but it's stupid. Secondly, you're right. It's stupid that she doesn't know how to land in a goddamn lake. The only thing you do, no surface area. Here's a big lesson for you guys. Don't belly flop when you jump off a goddamn bridge. And then it comes into the idea of these people, like you said, like we were talking about pre-show, Bri. If you don't like heights, don't go on the challenge. If you don't like going fast, don't go on the challenge. If you don't know how to swim, don't go on the challenge. If you can't jog up a hill, don't go on the challenge. Like, I just like stop it. I'm sick of these they're burned episodes to me when these people get eliminated or they quit. And they're like, I'm done. It's like, oh, well, obviously you're going to lose. Like, here's another burned episode. It's like, it's a waste. It's like, it's spoiled for me. So
Katie's the biggest culprit of that though. Katie, she got kicked out 2 episodes ago, but she's always been the biggest culprit of that. Like, I think there's been like at least two previous seasons where Katie, quit on a challenge that involved heights. She goes right into the elimination. She's like, all right, I'm going to the elimination. I don't care. And then she gets kicked out. It's like, you do this to yourself at least every time. Like, there's going to be challenge with heights.
And they have such a shitty attitude about it. We're like, why don't you just try? Like, fuck you, I'm not doing it. It's like,
I'm done, TJ. I'm like, I'm done. I'm spending my $11 a month on my Paramount Plus. You're going to get in that goddamn crane and you're going to jump.
Yeah.
Like, get out of here, Kendall. Again, but, we wish you the best.
Mm-hmm. She should have just went down to the next level. Remember you have that option?
Just dive.
Or cannonball. I don't know.
They say it's 30 foot. That's like a high dive. They're not putting you high enough where you're going to kill yourself.
Do a can opener or something. Like, let's go.
Do anything other than literally what she did.
Yeah, right.
Another thing that I have a lot of gripes this episode. It looks like I'm a negative Nancy on these notes. I'm sick of the King's Palace, boys. Yes. I talked about this the last time we were all together, actually, but that is a goddamn awful, corny freaking name. If you guys don't remember, that is Nehemiah, Tech, Melinda, and Latarian. What do you guys think of the King's Palace? Waleed, how about you go first?
I'm not a fan of the King's Palace either. I was never a fan of Latarian. I was never a fan of Nehemiah, and they're the ones who I feel like they're the creators of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, Melinda, she's a part of it because, like, you know, they're the guys that are gonna have her back. So why wouldn't she be a part of it? But I mean, and Tech is like the only other one that's in there. But I've always been a fan of Tech. But yeah, Nehemiah and Latarian, they just bother me. I really can't stand those guys. I never liked them. I mean, even in going back to like previous seasons, they're just, I mean, the whole idea of this alliance, I mean, you put it out there, and even Brad mentioned at the very beginning of the episode, and he's playing like the smartest game, I think, of the bunch. Like, he knows exactly what he's doing. Like, for the challenges,
Yeah.
he knew to slide in and take Jody because Jody no longer has Derek. But in the house, when he's like trying to, like, you know, conspire and like scheme and everything, he knows how to play both sides very well. So Brad's experience is showing, I feel, to this point in the challenge. So
Can I ask you what has Tech done in this show's history that warrants him his cockiness?
I mean, nothing really. I feel, you know, I just like Tech as a person. I just think he's funny, entertaining. That's all.
No, I'm fine with him, his like personality, but like he talks a lot of shit he does not intimidate me, and he might be the least intimidating guy to me. He's like a stick figure.
No, he isn't that intimidating. I agree, but I mean, I root for the guy. Hopefully, see him go far would be nice. But yeah, I mean, you gotta talk a little bit, I guess, just to, like, you know.
But he's never been in the finals.
Yeah,
has he?
Yeah, he hasn't been on the show. I think before last season.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
it's been a long time. Like, there's some people that I haven't been on in like 18 years. Tech might be one of them, but okay. I mean, it's the heat of competition. I mean, guys are competitive. You know, I think he knows that guys underestimate him, so he just tries to talk and, like, you know, make him think twice about calling him out.
Right. Honestly, the thing Tech's really just known for is stripping naked him and Ruthie the first day of their season on Real World Hawaii and like jumping in the pool and being fun. Okay. He was just known for being fun, basically. And this was, you got to remember, Real World Hawaii was like really early on in Real World. And so that was like the peak of like people being able to be like young and partying and like things like that. You didn't see that crap. You know what I mean? That he was like one of the first that they kind of put that show in the hyperdrive of it being a little bit more, I would say like risque and a little bit more like leaning into the drinking element of it and like the partying element of it. You know what I mean?
Was this before or after season of Vegas? With like
Hawaii was, I think, before
Hawaii
Vegas.
Was a long time ago.
Okay, I've watched Vegas and I thought I watched it in order, but maybe I didn't.
Yeah, Hawaii
I haven't seen Hawaii.
I can look what season. Hawaii was season 8, it says.
That's like back in like the late
1999.
Yeah,
maybe that just isn't on Paramount Plus. What season? Alton was
it's after Seattle and then immediately before New Orleans.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Vegas was the one with Alton that you just mentioned, right?
Yeah. Which one?
Vegas is season 12. It looks like.
Oh, okay. All right, that must have been in the gap then, Bill.
Yeah.
On real, like they need to get all those on Paramount Plus. I don't know.
Yeah, I have so many like binge of reality shows I want to do. I do think I probably will do Survivor since Brian's done it. But like an old Real World binge would be great. That would be.
But I need them all. Like I can't skip around. That's why I lost interest in it.
I'd like to keep the chronological order intact.
Because that's what I started with. I started with Real World, and then it got to a point I was like, damn, they're not even all on here. This stinks.
That's right. You were doing that. I remember that.
And I lost, and then I just went right to Survivor, and I haven't looked back.
Let's quickly talk about the challenge. We've alluded to it. It was called Deep Dive. Like Brian said, there were 2 platforms, one at 30 feet, one at 15 feet. You had to dive into the water, not hurt yourself. There were 4 treasure chests that had puzzle pieces. You had to dive down, get the puzzle pieces, go and solve the puzzle, blah, blah, blah. It was a timed event. So it was obviously whatever team did it the fastest. We talked about Kendall hurting herself. Besides that, the really only notes I have from the actual physical challenge, and you guys can note anything you want. We've talked about Jody being an absolute monster, by far being the best. And Latarian did hit that's what she said, which I appreciated. So, yeah. Anything else for you guys on the actual challenge before we get to the twist?
I mean, I'm going to say it for the billionth time. We need to have a timer. Like, I'm sick of living by confessionals who's doing well because you have no clue with the editing.
Yeah.
At all.
So we did mention that you had to pick your partner for this, and there was some urgency for some people. Like Waleed had said, Brad had a lot of urgency, was quick and grabbed Jody. Kahuta, he kind of stole Casey from someone, claimed her like property. That was kind of fucked, but it was kind of funny at the same
Was
time.
it Tyler?
I think it was. He didn't have any oomph, and that's how he ended up with freaking Jasmine.
Yeah.
Jody and Brad, that's a power couple.
Yeah.
The twist is now you guys are now partners for the rest of the season. Just instant reaction. How do you guys feel about the twist?
Yeah.
Like it.
I like it a lot too.
Really
I
cool.
like it because there's no notice. Like I that there was no. They just went in with their
Exactly.
gut, and then they're stuck with their gut decision. Like TJ didn't lead him on, and I really like that.
Yeah.
Perfect. Jody and Brad obviously won that challenge, and Jasmine and Tyler lost. Poor Tyler. He's good too. I think Tyler's a good competitor.
Yeah.
He is. And that's it. I was actually disappointed. He did not play the smartest game. He wasn't aggressive.
He was being too nice. You can't be worried about if he comes for season 3, which I'm sure he will, or at least if he decides to, he would definitely come back with a little bit smarter attitude. I
feel like was he on the last season of All Stars? I forget.
No,
he was not.
Yeah, so it's been a while for him. Maybe he just needed to get his feet wet again. It's been a long time, but back in the days, I mean, I remember he won on the first season of Rivals when he was partnered with Johnny Bananas. They were rivals, and they ended up winning that whole thing together. So
it's very true. I also think some of these people that come on the first season of the challenge, like coming back on All Stars, that aren't people that have been involved in TV or in the public eye, I still think they kind of are conscious about how they come off like back in their real life, I would think.
Yeah, you got to come back humble though. Like Derek came back too strong, I thought, and that kind of put a target on his back this season.
I can agree with you there. I've always been a fan of Derek, and he did come back a little bit with too much bravado, you know. So I can see that.
I would argue Derek's been relatively active in the recent, history. Not maybe the last few seasons, but it hasn't been 10 years since we've seen Derek. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think he was on the Dirty 30 season was the last one that he was on, and then
that was a good season.
That was a good season, yeah. And then he came back for this one for All Stars 1 and 2.
So deliberation nomination, Melinda and Tech use their lifesavers. I mean, that's basically becoming the trend here now. You have to burn the lifesaver people so then they can lose their votes, and then you can actually put in the people you really want to end up in there. That's become a quick. I mean, I liked the twist when it happened that first week with Steve, but now obviously it's just going to be copied. All good. It's going to be the 4 were Latarian, Kendall, and MJ and John A. And like we've kind of alluded to, because of the Kendall conversations, Latarian and Kendall are voted in. Latarian's not very happy. Not very happy.
I know you don't like him, Ollie, but he's kind of badass a little bit with these strength challenges.
No, he did good in the elimination too. I mean, he definitely.
What is it you don't like? Do you think he's like more bravado than execution, or I mean, like, what is your kind of like your criticism say?
I mean, yeah, just like I guess like all that, like I said, just character, bravado, like the too much that he has. He hasn't been on a long time, and he just comes in, and thinks that he's bigger than he actually is, compared to like a lot of the other guys. But I mean. Against Tyler in the elimination, which we'll get to in a minute. I mean, like I said, like he was impressive. I mean, he did good. He's not saying he's not a good competitor or anything like that, but just not someone that I always root for, I guess. I mean, part of the King's Palace thing and everything. So
King's Palace.
I mean, very fair enough. Very fair.
Like a wrestling, he cuts like a wrestling promo. That sounds like a wrestling stable. See on like Monday Night Raw, the King's Palace.
Didn't Kevin say he's like a football dad? Isn't that what Kevin described him as last
God,
season?
yeah, he is such a hardo football coach. He's a football coach dad, definitely.
Yeah, that will kick your ass.
Yeah, and poor Tyler, and we'll just get to it because we only had the male elimination since Kendall was medically eliminated. Good old fashioned pole wrestle, guys. an all-star and really a challenge, I mean, like a Hall of Fame type of elimination that's been a staple for years and years. You got to rip the freaking pole out of the guy's hand. That's it. I mean, it's as simple as it comes. It's tug of war with a stick.
Yeah.
And Latarian, I mean, look, I give him some credit to him that he held on for a little while in those rounds, but he got the shit beat out of him.
Yeah, Tyler, you could tell. I mean, like he really tried. He gave it his all. He tried, but I mean, even he said he's like, I just can't. rip this thing out of his hand. Like his grip was just much stronger than him, I guess. But
I mean, that's how Letarian did this last season too. And like, remember he was like pogo sticking whoever it was. They showed it on the
bang,
recap.
bang, bang.
Was,
like he's literally concussing a guy.
Because I was watching it, I was like, who was the person that did this? And they're like, oh, it was Letarian. I was like, oh, he's winning this. And I kind of like that they did a little jagged thing now. It's not just a straight, like just a little bit of like you're kind of twisting up the challenge just slightly.
It's like a crowbar kind. It's like a like
I mean, it was shaped like you could really lock your arm in there. This
like
time,
a nightstick kind of.
Yeah. Things, but I mean, he's pretty good. I still think like Kyle would probably beat him if they went up head to head right now because Kyle's really good at pole wrestling, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Like
Kyle, you mean Kyle from like the regular season?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure. I think Letarian would lose to a lot of the regular guys in the regular. He talked that shit. I would love. I don't think, and just like off top of my head, like he might have a shot against like CT, but I still think CT would beat him. I think a lot of those guys, even like a Jordan, the guys like, not even talking like West.
I would say Kyle, Ed, because Kyle and Ed did it this season. That was a good fight.
I mean, pole wrestle's been one of those games where you saw a lot of upsets too. Though
Fessy would beat him.
Yeah.
What was it?
I was like, even sorry. I was thinking like Fessy could definitely beat him. I think Josh would beat him.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, but like in the history of this like elimination, like this challenge, like pole wrestle, you've seen a lot of upsets in like previous seasons. Like I remember the first season of the duel, Wes ended up beating Derek, and that one was brutal. They were both exhausted by the end of it, but Wes ended up winning. And then one more recently, Abram lost to Leroy, and that was that was what established Leroy as more of a powerhouse player when he kicked out Abram in pole wrestle. So like there's been some real entertaining matchups in this game. This one, unfortunately, I was pulling for Tower to make it a little more competitive, but I mean, Letarian, he did beast him for sure. So
I did like that. Like if somebody, you could like reset the game by going out of the end, like the sideline.
Yeah.
I did too. Well, it's great. I mean, it's a strategy. The only way when you're smaller is you got to try to basically hold on to that stick and make them just waste so much damn energy. Right. And when they go for a breather to try to just get a quick jerk and try to do your best to get off of it, I mean, you're not going to win a game of strength. Like you have to outlast them, which is if they're dumb. And like a lot of times, like you said, like they'll be standing over them, holding and killing energy, supposed to just hitting the ground with them too and not burning energy. But like it's, again, it's a shame that he had to go out like that. I think Letarian obviously staked this claim. I mean, he's still going to continue to be a target, but obviously when you're proclaiming yourself having an alliance with a name, you're going to have to deal with that. It's just part of the deal now. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him thrown back in again quickly if they're smart, because they're not going to have another headbanger 2 times in a row for the guys. It's going to be different next time.
Of course. Yeah, definitely.
So anything else, guys, before we wrap this up?
Jody and Brad are my new favorite.
Oh, it's a great group.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Jody, yeah, definitely. She's now, I mean, she hasn't been on too many challenges in a long time. Last time she came on was the first season of the duel, and she ended up being the first individual female winner of all time in the challenge history. So because it's been so long, I really didn't know how great of a competitor she actually was. Now I'm really seeing like, yeah, she's a powerhouse.
Yeah, she's good.
She's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, she might end up being like one of the 5, like, top 5, girls of all time, like in this, in challenge history. Like she's at least like top 10, I'd say. She's getting there.
And another thing to think about with, we were talking about Letarian is now he's with Jasmine now, correct? Because I mean, it's very plausible that they could come in last place in a weekly challenge, and you can see him back pretty soon. So.
Yeah, but he's also got a life shield now, so he'll be here at least till next week.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying it's not like there's multiple ways for him to. And like you said, I guess there is only we got 7, 8, 9, so we got 4 episodes left.
Yeah, I hope they dump the life shield next week. Like this can't keep going. You
need like a double elimination too.
Yeah, get the life shield needs to stop. I think now that's my opinion.
Yeah.
That would be sick.
Well, I'm curious to see how they spice the game up moving forward even more. Like the partners thing was one thing this week, so hopefully there's more twists and turns later.
Yeah, I mean, again, this has been a very straightforward season, so that could be like the big twist. You know what I mean? Maybe outside of instead of like maybe a mini purge or something, which I'm a big purge guy, so everyone knows this by now. I love the shock multiple eliminations, keep people on their toes. So All right. So we will obviously be back for week 7 next week. You can also check out the content we've had on the channel. If this is your first time watching, we have everything from, like I said, the challenge to Survivor to the Bachelor. We had the Spies, Lies, and Allies finale last week. We didn't know there was going to be a reunion, so we'll check the reunion out. And if the reunion is worth covering, we'll do an episode on that. You'll also soon, after the finale next week of The Bachelorette, there will be a season preview for the season of The Bachelor. So plenty of stuff coming before the Christmas holiday and the new year. But for myself, Brian, Waleed, Kevin, peace.